This is Jerod Lakefield, a novel by Don Fensler, part number 23. Awakening. As if from a dream, I woke up and ran to the door of the bus and ran down the steps. I ran to Jerod at the bottom of the embankment of the bridge. "What happened, Jerod?" I screamed. I expected to see him badly injured. His hands, his beautiful magical hands, badly burned. I looked at him and hugged him. He didn't seem to be in any pain or injured at all. He just looked so tired, and as I hugged him, he sunk to the ground slowly. I sat next to him, still holding him like a father cradling his young son. By this time, some of our other players had come over to us, all of them wide-eyed and or weeping. Then the Hispanic lady was over us, sobbing, "Gracias, gracias, praise God." And the policeman, the highway patrolman, was still on his knees, staring into space, his features flashing with the flames from the car, the still burning inferno. And 3 young children were standing over us with their mom, the mom was still saying, "Gracias, gracias, praise God." The car was still burning. I kept asking Jerod, "What happened? What happened?" But he didn't answer. "Why aren't you burned, Jerod? Why isn't anyone burned, Jerod?" I said, finally blurting out what I really wanted to know. Jerod looked up to me, so sad and tired, and said, "You can't tell anyone of what happened here today. Only you saw everything." Something compelled me to run from Jerod Lakefield, to return to someone like me, and so I ran to the police officer and asked, "What happened? Please tell me what happened." He looked at me in a daze and said softly, "They were all dead. They were all black and burned and dead. I saw them. They were dead." And again he buried his head in his hands. About this time, the fire trucks and ambulances had arrived. There were lights flashing all over the place. One of the little kids who had been pulled from the burning car asked me, "Why is this man crying?" She was pointing to Jerod Lakefield. Police report. The official police and accident report just said a car had caught on fire and everyone had gotten out of the car uninjured. The little kids and their mother were taken to the hospital, but didn't even have singed eyebrows. Jerod Lakefield refused treatment. He also was totally uninjured, as if nothing had just happened. But of course, much more than just a non-injury accident had occurred. Jerod had told me briefly, but with great power, you can't tell anyone of what happened here today. I just told the police and everyone who asked, "I don't know," when asked what happened. Only the police woman, the woman, and the 3 children and I knew, for we were the only ones that had a really clear view of everything that happened. We were the only ones who knew that something miraculous and astonishing had just happened. But we had no idea what. The officers taking the report were getting frustrated with us, wondering why we were all so shell-shocked and seemingly uncooperative. But the truth was, we were not being uncooperative. We all, including the police officer who had seen it all, had no idea what we had seen or what to say about it. The rest of the season. Needless to say, after the incident on the highway, I was not the same person. I knew a secret that no one else knew, that Jerod Lakefield was not one of us. What and who he was, I had no idea, but I knew it was something good. I prayed it was something good. I felt calmer, yet more unsettled than at any time. The basketball season went on, but it seemed minuscule in importance. The rest of the games this season were against teams in our league. There is no reason why I should tell you about each game. It was ridiculous. We won every game easily, by an average of 23.4 points. Jerod Lakefield controlled every game. The rest of the players and we coaches learned how to play with Jerod Lakefield. You let him control the game, but you let him disappear when he wanted to disappear. The usual pattern of the game is that we would start off with his fucking Harry Houdini passed the Linguini disappearing act. We would all fall behind. Then Jerod would take over, hitting shot after shot, many well beyond the three-point line, and we would pull ahead, and finally we would be way ahead. Plus his defense, the frenzy, would rip the opponent a new and bigger rectum and cause believers to become atheists and for atheists to become believers. Jerod had gone one game where he scored 76 points. He had another game where he scored 5. We won both games by over 30. It didn't fucking matter what teams did to defend Jerod. If they put one guy on him, he would score 76. If they put 3 guys on him, the rest of the team would score 76. The rest of our team was bad, bless their fucking dainty hearts, but could manage to hit wide-open layups on occasion. And we knew we were blessed to be with Jerod Lakefield, not just on the basketball court, but every moment in our lives, whether we were with him physically or not. The incident on the highway with the burning car, sometimes like a dream, seemed like it didn't really happen. It seemed like it was disappearing from our memory. As I said, many of the opposing coaches said this about playing Jerod. It had become the standard mantra when talking about Jerod Lakefield. You can play a perfect game, and yet you still have no chance against Jerod Lakefield. You hit 100% of your twos, but he is hitting 70 to 80% of his threes, even on a bad day. So you are hemorrhaging points. Do the math. Hemorrhaging points and falling farther and farther behind. Even though you're playing your best basketball ever, you are not going to be able to keep up in a game with Jerod Lakefield. The rest of the season continued. We won every game easily, and we all knew we were watching history. Something beyond basketball, something beyond sport. Our little arena was filled every night. Jerod Lakefield was the reason, and he was the biggest hero in the history of St. Cloud State and the Minnesota Western League, of which we were a member. He was known outside of Minnesota, but not very well known. People could read of his 76 points in one game and think, big deal. It's just small college sports. Anything can happen there. All kinds of funny things happen at little bitty dinky colleges. Of course, no one fucking knew about what happened on the highway except a few people, and we had told no one as he instructed. It never even crossed my mind now to disobey Jerod Lakefield. It would have been stupid, I felt. Not even in the realm of possibilities to disobey Jerod Lakefield. That's how much power he now had over me. People who had seen Jerod Lakefield play, even for a moment, I felt knew something incredible was going on, not of this earth. That he was the greatest basketball player ever, and it didn't matter who he was playing against, and that he was not one of us. But he was never on ESPN. He was never mentioned on TV or on the radio or in the newspapers outside of Minnesota, to my knowledge, except maybe briefly. And of course, his being a basketball player was just incidental. I knew he, and somehow I also was destined for something much bigger than basketball, but also much bigger in life. That something was going to happen, whether good or bad or beautiful or tragic, I had no idea. I just had the feeling something very big was going to happen, and I was going to be part of it. Jerod finished the regular season averaging 28.5 points, shooting 67.3% from the field and 98.1% from the free throw line. Game after game, he shut out his man on defense, often covering guys 6 inches taller than he was. But that doesn't tell half of it. Jerod made us all feel small and insignificant.